found his passion for cooking in his early 20s. He worked at places like the H and Mariner, which is a seafood restaurant near South Salem, New York. Languedoc, French restaurant also around South Salem, New York. Wild Ginger, which was the first fusion restaurant in Boston.
Wow.
He opened that, and that was one of his babies. Then later on, he worked with me at the West Street Grill. Ultimately in Boston, he ended up working and running Lockover Corporation, which was a restaurant group that included my restaurant, Lockover Cafe, and the Clark Cookhouse in Newport, Rhode Island. Then we decided to move to Connecticut. And then he also ran 33 and a Third, which was a restaurant in Ridgefield, Connecticut. I was the executive chef of the West Street Grill, and my general manager, Caroline, who was friends with Mark, knew that Mark was looking for a change. So here comes in this big guy in a Kangol cap, rings on his fingers, with a big, booming, loud voice, and a wonderful smile. My gut feeling was, this guy's out for my job. And I hated him from the start. But we quickly became friends and co-workers. We worked together at my restaurant for about 6 to 8 months. After that, he became my boss when he took over the Lockover Cafe and the head of the restaurant group. Then we decided to be more than friends. We knew we had to keep it a secret because it would have been frowned upon. We also didn't know if it was going to work or not. And we were also in relationships with other people.
I love it.
So our first date was rollerblading on the Charles River. It was a beautiful day. We had a great time. Everybody knows what rollerblading is, right?
Yeah.
So we decided to take a rest and sit on a park bench. But unfortunately, the park bench was not anchored properly. So the short story is that he landed on top of me. After that, I had to go over to the Charles River and shove my arm in the water because my wrist was sprained. And unfortunately, that really didn't help. So later on that night, we had an event at the Boston Ballet. Several different restaurants were there. Both of our restaurants were there, and everybody kept on asking me, how did I get hurt? And they also wanted to know why. We moved to South Salem, New York to be closer to both sides of the family. Then we moved to Danbury next. We stayed in the restaurant business for a couple of years. Then Mark went into the food distribution business as a meat manager slash meat buyer for Dandy, I forgot what it's called now, Dandy Produce. And then ultimately he ended up as a salesperson for Prime Source Foods. During those years, we watched our families grow and change. Julie and Stephen had Emily. Ryan and Karen had Madison and Parker. Later on, we moved to Waterbury, Connecticut, and found a home that we loved. He was very proud to watch his nieces and nephews grow, become smart, loving adults. We have 3 bulldogs, Earl, Max, Moose. We have 3 cats, Taylor, Spooky, Chaos. And then ultimately, we ended up in the Australian Shepherd Club with Ivy, Izzy, and Denali. During those years, he also had a passion for motorcycles, a passion for guns, working around the house, and also taking life-changing vacations together. He had a love of music and concerts, like groups like In Excess, Depeche Mode, Korn, Tool, and Rob Zombie. We were looking forward. Mark, Art, Parker, Karen, and I spent many nights together going to concerts and celebrating life. We were looking forward to finding a place to retire, traveling to trips like the Mediterranean, Asia, Bora Bora. Bora Bora was where I wanted to go. But also his conditions were there was going to be many stops along the way because he didn't want to be in an airplane more than 8 hours. Or he had to be somewhat medicated for these trips. But his values, integrity, and love of others will live on. During our casual conversations about family and friends, he wished everybody to be happy and healthy. He wished for everybody to love each other and support each other in good times and bad. This is not goodbye. We will see you in the future. To quote Queen Elizabeth II, grief is the price we pay for love. Thank you for coming and celebrating Mark's life.